I'd been writing for 6 months before she died. The weird thing is, the essential plot didn't change after my mother died, but everything deepened and darkened. Harry was always going to lose his parents, and it was always going to be a quest, really, to avenge them, but to avenge everyone against this creature, this being who believes that he can make himself immortal by killing other people. So that's something I'd created before she died, but yes, it seeped into every part of the books.
After her mother's death, Jo moved to Portugal to teach English as a foreign language. She married Jorge Arantes, a television journalist. Together they had a daughter, Jessica, but the marriage failed after 2 years. Jo succumbed to depression.
I'd had a short and really quite catastrophic marriage, and I'm left with this baby, and I've got to get this baby back to Britain, and I've got to rebuild us a life. And adrenaline kept me going through that, and it was only when I came to rest that it hit me what a complete mess I had made of my life. And that hit me quite hard.
Jo Rowling has given away millions of pounds. She's never forgotten what it was like to have very little money. Amidst all the fame and the trappings of success, it's probably quite easy to lose sight of who she was when she started out. So I wanted to take her back to her old flat in Leith, where she finished the very first Harry Potter book, and find out what her life had been like then. It's only a few miles from her main house in Edinburgh, but this is the first time she's been back. Did you write in here?
Mm-hmm. This is really the room. Well, I finished Philosopher's Stone in here. This is really where I turned my life around. Completely. I mean, my life changed so much in this flat. I feel I really became myself here, in that everything was stripped away. I've made such a mess of things, but that was freeing. So I just thought, well, I want to write. So I write the book. And what is the worst that can happen? It gets turned down by every publisher in Britain, big deal. So, you know, it's really back to the old time here. My bedroom's a lot, well, my bedroom, the bedroom is a lot tidier now, God. God, that's much. This was a tip when I lived here. Oh, look, Harry Potter books. Now that's really freaky. And for years now, I felt like if it all disappeared, and some days I do feel like, is it real? Then this is where I would come back to, you know, this would be my baseline, I'd be back in Leith. And obviously if I'd known that 10 years, well, was it, yeah, 10 years on, I'd come back here with a film crew and there would be my published books in someone else's bookcase in this room. I mean, it's really incredible to me. It really, I mean, yes.
le centre d'Édimbourg, The Elephant House est devenu le café le plus célèbre de la ville. Et pour cause, c'est ici qu'est né Harry Potter. Son auteur, J.K. Rowling, venait y trouver son inspiration pour écrire dans le calme son premier tome. Aujourd'hui, l'établissement est devenu le repère des fans de la saga.
Chaque jour, nous sommes assommés de questions sur elle, vous savez, du genre où elle s'asseyait, et même des questions très stupides comme quelle toilette utilisait-elle.
Il faut dire que depuis le premier tome en 97, Harry Potter est devenu un véritable phénomène de société internationale. Et ce que les fans viennent surtout chercher ici, c'est l'inspiration originale qui a guidé l'auteur.
Il suffit de regarder les alentours ici, cette vue, ces maisons, ce château, ce cimetière, pour comprendre qu'il s'agit d'un endroit qui peut donner beaucoup d'inspiration à quelqu'un.
Juste à côté du café se dresse un vieux cimetière. Certains y verront peut-être planer l'ombre du méchant Lord Voldemort. Pour d'autres, c'est l'école privée du quartier où était scolarisée la fille de J.K. Rowling, qui a servi de modèle pour imaginer l'école de magie de Poudlard. Et que dire de l'imposant château d'Édimbourg, dont l'enceinte interdite se dresse sur les hauteurs de la ville, de quoi donner à l'auteur une foule d'idées pour l'ambiance gothique de ses nouvelles. À l'écart de la ville, dans les Highlands écossais, les fans d'Harry Potter reconnaîtront à coup sûr le fameux pont qu'Harry et ses amis traversent chaque début d'année pour rejoindre Poudlard.
C'est incroyable, c'est vraiment le pont d'Harry Potter.
Le clou du spectacle, un trajet à bord du fameux train. Pendant l'été, les fans ont l'occasion une fois par jour d'approcher leurs rêves, devenir eux aussi des futurs apprentis magiciens à bord du Poudlard Express.